Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to go over all of the books that I read in the month of August. The first books that I want to talk about that I read in August, actually this is a cheater. I read A Discovery of Witches in late July, and then I picked up the rest of the series and I read both of these in August. I really just did a video on my thoughts on the trilogy, so I'll link that in the description box below. Feel free to check it out. I loved this series. This is my first fantasy series that I'd ever read, and I had a great time. It was very enjoyable. The second book I read in August was The Bookshop of Yesterdays by Amy Meyerson. This is actually her debut novel, and I have to say I found it quite enjoyable. The premise is really good. It's a girl who had a close relationship with her uncle. He used to challenge her to fun scavenger hunts, actual like thought-provoking scavenger hunts when she was a little girl. They had a great relationship, and then all of a sudden her uncle and her mom had a falling out, and she just never heard from her uncle again. And flash forward more than a decade, and she found out that her uncle passed away, and he left her his bookshop, and he also left her the first clue to a scavenger hunt. And the scavenger hunt unravels the mystery of a family secret that's been hidden since she was a little girl. And the premise of it is quite good. I found the main character, Miranda Brooks, I found her to be less likable than I think that potentially hindered my enjoyment of the overall book, but I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. It's a fun book. I actually wrote a full book review for my blog, and if you're interested in learning more of my thoughts, I will link that book review in the description box below so you can check it out on my blog. The next book that I read is A Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is also a debut novel. It's a young adult book written from the perspective of a high school senior. Our heroine Pip decides that she's going to investigate Amy Bell's disappearance. When she was 13 years old, Andy Bell just disappeared, and a few days later her boyfriend committed suicide. So everyone just assumed that her boyfriend committed suicide. There was a note. They just assumed that he, overwhelmed with guilt for the crime, that he killed himself. The problem is Pip doesn't believe that he did it. She remembers him being very kind and very thoughtful. She doesn't think he's capable of committing the crime, and so she decides that she's going to hold her own high school investigation into the crime. The book itself is paced really well, and Holly Jackson actually intersperses transcripts and memos and crime files into the book, so it feels a little bit more authentic. It was really fun. The mystery itself was really good and very suspenseful. I had a great time with this one. I also wrote a full review on this on my blog. I will link that in the description box below. The next one that I picked this up in a book haul, and I read this a couple of weeks ago. As I said before, I used to read Mary Higgins Clark all of the time when I was younger. I loved her. They All Fall Down, When the Bell Breaks, those kind of more suspenseful crime dramas. So I thought I would pick up a Mary Higgins Clark. This is You Don't Own Me, and it's more of a new release, and it was co-written with Alifair Burke. This is actually a part of a series. Laurie Morgan produces a series called Under Suspicion, where she looks into cold cases that are unsolved. And so this series picks up on one of those cold cases, and the cold case is the murder of Dr. Martin Bell. And Dr. Bell's parents are absolutely convinced that his widow, Kendra Bell, committed the murder. And so they kind of strong-arm Laurie into taking up this case under suspicion, and Kendra has some secrets to hide. I hated this book. Forgive me. It's not that it's a part of the series and the series wasn't easy or was difficult to pick up on. That's fine. The style of writing, I found it not suspenseful at all. All of the supposed twists I kind of saw coming, and I just wasn't enamored of this book at all. I do have a book review of this one as well for my blog. I will link that in the description box below too. The next book I read is Julie Garwood Wired. I also grew up on Julie Garwood. I read all three of these together. There was a Nora Roberts, a Mary Higgins Clark, and a Julie Garwood, and I read all three of them in the same week. And just trying to catch up on authors that I used to read and love to bits, just to see kind of how my style aged. I thought it would be a lot of fun to catch back up on fun authors and rediscover some new classics. This book, Wired, I did also review on my blog. I will link that in the description below. It's okay. It's a thriller romance, which Julie Garwood writes really well. The problem that I have with it is the hero and the heroine, more really the heroine than the hero. So Allison Trent is our heroine, and she is a computer coding genius hacker. She is a student who gives her teachers lessons in computer coding. She's a model, and she models in print and she models on the runway. She is an absolute saint of a person who is orphaned and was emotionally abused by her aunt and uncle, and so there's tension there, but she is the nicest person in the entire world. About, like, there is absolutely no flaw in this woman's character, looks. There's no flaw at all, and I found it to be so far from conceivable that it kind of had me rolling my eyes a little bit. So it was good. The story itself was pretty... My cat. Yep. The story itself was pretty compelling. I'm sorry, my cat has decided he's gonna come in and give his 2 cents as well. But I found the story to be pretty compelling, but the hero and heroine, he is an FBI agent who's the star, who's a star in the FBI, but he's also a lawyer, and he's the hottest man known to walk the face of the earth. By the way, so she is a senior in college, so she's probably 22. So if he's a star in the FBI, but he's also her age range, yeah. So anyway, it didn't all add up for me, but overall it was a fun read, and it was really quick to get through, but it was good. This is the last book that I read in the week. It's Shelter in Place by Nora Roberts, and I, again, was just catching up with one of my favorite authors from way back when. I was so not disappointed with this book. It unfortunately starts out with a mass shooting at a mall. And the way that Nora Roberts writes about the mass shooting from the different perspectives of different victims throughout the shooting is absolutely suspenseful. And I started reading this, just gonna read a couple pages before I went to bed one night, and I don't think I got to bed until 2 in the morning. It was truly, truly, truly a great book. One of the victims of the mall shooting actually becomes a police officer, and he keeps track of each of the victims that survived the mall shooting, and he realizes that over the course of time, some of them are starting to die in some very mysterious ways, and he thinks that there's something going on. At the same time, there's another victim of the crime who is also our heroine, Simone Knox. She has tried to move on with her life. It details her struggles in kind of survivor's guilt and trying to be a person that's worthy of living through such an event. I found this story to be so compelling. I loved the hero, I loved the heroine. It was the right amount suspenseful. The story moved along at such a good pace, and there was also a little bit of a romantic element in there as well. It was just such a good book. I really enjoyed it. Also did a book review on my blog for this one, so I will link it in the description below. The next book that I read this month was Rachel Howitt's Hall, They All Fall Down. This book is along the lines of And Then There Were None from Agatha Christie. It's a closed circle mystery. Each of the victims, so to speak, have been trapped on an island together. They've all been lured there under false pretenses. So it's very, very much in cadence with Agatha Christie. The problem that I had with this book is that the characters are so completely unlovable that I had to force myself to keep reading. So because I already had some familiarity with the Agatha Christie tale, I already knew how the story ended. I already knew kind of what was coming up. Rachel Howitz Hall took 160 pages to develop the characters, and by the way, that's about halfway through the book, to develop the characters that were horrible people. They started dying and I just didn't care. So I did not find this one a likable book at all. And I would say if you're interested in a closed circle mystery, I would absolutely stick with Agatha Christie, and then there were none. I know that there are other versions, but stick with the best. I love the way that Agatha Christie introduces a character and then gradually sort of peels the layers back so that you kind of figure out what's going on with the characters, whereas Rachel Howitz Hall punches you in the face with the characters and all of their demons right away, and there's nowhere to develop. You just don't like them, and the more you learn about them, the less you like them, even though you don't even know how that's possible. I did write a book review on that. I will link it in the description box below. It is on my blog. I started Cheryl Wood's series Stealing Home. For those of you who haven't seen it, there's a new Netflix series that came out like towards the beginning of quarantine, so April, May-ish, and it's called Sweet Magnolias, and it's got Joanna Garcia and Chris Klein and some other actors that you would know. And I actually binged the series. I really enjoyed it, and then I found out that it was based on a series of books. So I decided to invest in the book, the first book at least, and see if I liked it. Cheryl Woods takes one character and develops them in each of her first 3 books. So there are 3 best friends. It's a little bit along the lines of like a Yaya sisterhood best friendship. They support each other, they love each other, they've known each other for years. So the first book is about Maddie Townsend, who is getting a divorce after a 20-year marriage and learning to figure out her life. Unfortunately, she lives in a small town. Her husband has cheated on her and has gotten his mistress pregnant, and he has decided to make an honest woman out of his mistress, so he's leaving his wife and his 3 children and moved in with and plans to marry his mistress as soon as the divorce is final. So Maddie is trying to get the threads of her life back together and also hold her children up. There's a bit of a romantic arc in here as well. So it's a little how Stella got her groove back, and a little bit Divine Secrets of the Yaya Sisterhood, and I enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and read the next 2 books in the series. I think the series is 6 or 7 novels long. There are other characters that are introduced that Cheryl Woods develops, but I'm definitely gonna invest in the next 2 books and learn about the lives of Dana Sue and Helen. In the TV series, Helen is actually my favorite character. So I'm really, she's an attorney, she's a little bit more independent. She's single. Her character resonated with me a little bit, so I'm just really excited to get the opportunity to read more of Cheryl Wood. I am working on a video of my top 5 TV shows that are based on novels, and spoiler alert, this is actually one of them. The last book that I read this month, and I'm actually cheating a little bit because we still have a couple days left in the month as I'm filming this, and I still haven't finished, but I love Brene Brown. Rising Strong is a book about how to overcome and sort of get back up after you've had a failure. So Brene Brown actually talks about the fact that all of these greats who talk about failures, the part where you get back up to succeed and to move on and to do bigger and better things, that's kind of the yada yada yada. So it talks about failure, yada yada yada, and then it talks about all this tremendous success on the back end. And so she actually wants to delve into how people truly get up, move back on, and get over failure, talking about shame and vulnerability and some of the key things that Brene Brown does the best. So I am only 26 pages in. I haven't really given this I only have 1 sticky. I haven't really given this a fair start yet, but So far so good. I love Brené Brown. I think this is the third or the fourth book of hers that I've picked up, and she resonates with me. What are you gonna pick up in September? I just got an email from Goodreads with some new releases, and I am super excited about some of the continuations. Louise Penny is coming out with a new Inspector Gamache novel. I'm excited about some of the standalone novels too. They sound amazing. I have been binging booktubers talk about their fall picks for the last day and a half. So I am super excited about September. Let me know your thoughts in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe to my channel, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. As I mentioned before, I am working on a video of my favorite TV series, current TV series based on books. If you have any suggestions, anything that you think that I would love to see, let me know. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.